So part 2 of the Business of Fashion Basics is really about writing a business plan and how to think about writing a business plan. Of course, we can't cover all the minutiae of it today, but what I really wanted to cover was the main things that you need to address in a business plan, and also to understand what a business plan is for. So let's start with that. And that's really about well, why do I need a business plan in the first place?
Why do I need a business plan in the first place? A lot of young designers think that a business plan is something you need to raise investment. Potential investors certainly are one key audience, but a business plan is also a communication tool and a device that enables you to ensure alignment amongst the different constituencies in your organization, whether that be your team, your wholesale partners, or your board of directors. Having a well-thought-out business plan provides clarity about where you want the business to go, and means that at any given time you have something to share with people who ask about your strategy. A business plan also helps you to measure progress against your goals and milestones. Every few months, you can go back to your business plan and have a look at where you stand. However, a business plan is not written in stone. It is natural, as a young business, that your plans will change as you learn more about the market and as you get feedback from your customers. In this way, you can treat your business plan as a living, breathing document that changes over time, but helps to ensure you are on the right path to achieving your goals.
At the end of the day, the business plan helps you to attract the people, support, and money that your business needs to succeed. What are the key elements of a business plan, and what are the key topics that you need to cover as you think about putting a business plan together? There are 5 essential components to a fashion business plan. The first is an executive summary, which provides an overview of the business plan. The second is vision and objectives, which helps people to understand your overall goals and objectives for the business. The third is to provide an understanding of the market and the competitive landscape to help people understand what part of the market you're playing in and who the other players are, how quickly the market might be growing. The fourth is an implementation plan, a plan that helps you explain and understand exactly what it's going to take to deliver on that. And the fifth is financials. And this helps you to identify both how you see your business growing from a revenue standpoint, but also how you see the business's needs growing from a cost standpoint, and what that implies for the funding investment that you might need. What is an executive summary? An executive summary is typically something that I would recommend you do at the end of the process, but it sits at the beginning of your plan. And what it will do is become what some people call an elevator pitch. So say you bumped into a real Andrew Rosen, one of the most famous investors in early stage fashion businesses, and say you were introduced to him at a dinner, or you were introduced to him at a cocktail party, and you had 1 or 2 minutes to introduce yourself and what your business is about. That's what should be in your executive summary. It encapsulates all of the key points, ideas, and objectives of your business in a very, very short, concise statement, probably no more than a page. So if you got rid of the entire business plan and you only had 1 page to walk around with and talk to people, that would be your executive summary. And that's why I recommend you do it at the end, because until you go through the whole process of putting the business plan together, you're not necessarily going to know what that overall summary is. The second part of a business plan is the vision and objectives. And when I spoke earlier about bringing something unique to the market, this is really the part of the business plan where you can bring that unique point of view to life. It might be that you're going after the contemporary segment. It might be that you're involved in the footwear market. What is it that you're going to bring to that market that's different? What is your special sauce? What particular market need are you trying to fill? And which customer are you targeting? Helping the investor and all of the partners and other people who will read your business plan understand what your vision and objectives are will make it much, much more clear in their heads exactly what the market is that you're going after, and to indeed identify that there is a need in that market. Going through this process yourself will also help you to understand, is this really where I should be focusing my attention? I see a lot of young design businesses almost instinctively go after the luxury end of the market. They think if I'm going to work in fashion, I need to be luxury. Actually, on reflection, a lot of designers discover that the products they're creating might be better suited to other segments of the market, like the contemporary segment. If you can bring, for example, a high fashion point of view to a lower price point or a more accessible price point, then that might be a really interesting vision or objective for your business. You're finding that opportunity. So once you've identified the vision and objectives of your business, the specific opportunity that you're going after, it's important in part 3 of a business plan to drill down into the market and competitive landscape. And this section of the business plan really goes through that market in detail. How big is the market? How quickly is it growing? What evidence do you have that this part of the market is an interesting opportunity? Investors will want to know, who are the other competitors in the market? Are they growing? What is their positioning in the market? What are you going to do that's different to them? If you really are able to kind of describe that landscape, describe that competitive environment, you'll be able to build confidence in the investor's eyes that there's really an opportunity there. Just because there are other players doesn't mean it's not a good market opportunity. So for example, if you want to get into a new market that's growing very, very quickly, then going into a market that's growing quickly, even if there's lots of competition, is not necessarily a bad thing. It means that the market is growing. And you may have heard the expression, a rising tide raises all boats, right? That's what happens when you're going after a market that's growing very quickly. If you're going after a market that's not growing that quickly, that means in order to grow, in order to take a position in that market, you have to steal market share from other people or other companies. And those companies might have certain weaknesses or might not have seen certain things that you have seen. You have to be very, very clear about what it is going on in that market landscape and why you believe there's an opportunity. That's the really key part of this section. Part 4 is an implementation plan. So you've identified the overall objectives of the business. You've got a sense that this is a growing market. What is your plan to go after that opportunity? What are the specific actions that your business will be taking in order to make that opportunity happen? And that's going to include everything from how you communicate as a business, what are the things that you'll do in terms of the staff that you'll hire, the space that you'll need, the outside expertise in terms of marketing or communications or PR. It's like, what is your overall plan? This is probably the largest and most detailed section of your business plan. And it really should, on a step-by-step basis, in a chronological order, possibly season by season, talk about what you're going to do for the foreseeable future in terms of actions. In the first season, I need to hire 2 or 3 people, mostly in design and production. And I'm going to work with a sales agent, and I'm going to try to secure between 3 and 5 accounts and sell approximately $20,000 per account. So I'm expecting revenues of $100,000 in a season, in that first season. And you basically need to get into that level of detail of exactly what you need to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself and in terms of your implementation plan. And every season after that should become, the business should be seen as growing, but you should be able to identify the resources and people you'll need at each stage to continue that vision and objectives that you've set out. This is actually quite a detailed section of the business plan, so you should really be thinking very carefully. A lot of other businesses will think in years or they'll think in months, but I think in a startup fashion business, thinking on a seasonal basis and what you want to do on a seasonal basis is probably the best way to kind of outline that. And I would expect, if I was an investor, a kind of 3-year implementation plan, a 3-year plan for how you're going to take the steps to achieve your long-term vision. And then finally, you have the section called financials, which is probably, for many designers, the most scary section. But it's actually one of the most important things to get right, and you may need some help from other advisors or partners or individuals to help you put this together, but it's absolutely critical. And basically the financial section answers, how will this business grow in terms of both profit and revenue, and what financing will you need to make it happen? This includes both an income statement, which is also known as a profit and loss statement, showing the top line growth of your business, but also the costs for delivering that growth. And this basically will project when you will be profitable. In an early stage fashion business, I wouldn't expect that you would be profitable in the short term. But over time, as the business grows and it scales, you can expect that you might start earning a profit. But many, many early stage businesses are not profitable for a very long time because all of the money that you're earning, you're reinvesting it back into the business and more. The second essential part of the financials is a cash flow statement. And it's really one of the most important parts of your plan, as it shows the peaks and troughs of cash on a monthly basis and identifies what funding need you will require in order to finance the growth. So you might be profitable on an income statement basis, but cash flow statements and income statements are completely different. Cash is what you actually have in the bank, and income statement is your kind of overall profitability over a period of time. That's kind of the core elements of a fashion business plan.